Okay, so it is the Silhouette Studio print and cut class. Yay! So I was talking about Ellie Mae, and she has a website called Silhouette Secrets Plus. She has a Facebook group and a Facebook page. All that information is on your resources document that you received this afternoon. She is really good at print and cut. She is very good at the software and troubleshooting it and things like that. So I use the technique that she recommends, and I have never had a problem. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens tonight. So that I just wanted to acknowledge that where is where a lot of this information is coming from, and that's the cool thing about Silhouette or any of the, whether you have a Cricut or anything. There's lots of communities out there, whether on Facebook and other places where you can go and get help. So we're going to get started. So the first thing you want to do is open Silhouette Studio. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we are going to go to Silhouette Studio. When you come into Silhouette Studio, let's just pretend we just opened this. You're going to, normally when you first open it, the page setup comes up. One of the first things you're going to do is set the media size. Right now, media size is set to 12 by 12. Now, I just got myself a charming 12 by 12 printer. Actually, it's like 12 by 18. You can print up to the length. But it's, of course, not set up because I don't have the place organized yet. So the only thing I can print on right now is letter size. So that's 8.5 by 11. You can also just enter it in these boxes, width and height boxes, but it's just easier to do that. So that's the first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do is go on the page setup panel to the third tab, which is this little grayish box with the white corners, and click on that. And this is where you turn on your registration marks. So I'm going to say on. One of the things that Ellie Mae recommends highly is that you restore the defaults before you do anything. You will see some instructions that say you can move these registration marks, you can do all sorts of things. That's where people tend to have trouble. You can do it, you're welcome to do it, but I am perfectly happy with the way it is. So I'm going to click on Restore Defaults. And I haven't changed anything, so it still should be there, but it's just one of the things she recommends. So you have your registration marks on, and you clicked on Restore Defaults, and we are ready to go to the next thing. What you'll see on screen now are these registration marks. Oops. That's this square, this little bracket, and then down in the bottom left is another little bracket. The other thing you'll see are the cross, and those are going to print. That is the thing that the optic eye, these registration marks, are how the Silhouette machine reads and knows where to cut. It will go through that when I send something to cut. The other thing of these hash marks, that's just telling you don't put anything in this area. You don't want to cover up. You can't put it all the way up here. You don't want to, because it will interfere with the machine reading the marks, and then your print and cut won't work properly. The other thing you see is a red cut border. You notice that's right around where the registration marks are. Nothing outside of this will cut. So you need to keep your images in here, inside that red box. And finally, you'll see this really faint gray line running around the edge. It's hard to really see, but what that is your print line, and nothing will print beyond that. Obviously, since you have to have it inside your red cutting box, it sort of doesn't matter, but you just want to keep everything in here. On your instructions, you'll see a picture of a really cute little whippet, because I have one. I actually got this off of Pixabay, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But the photographs that you see, the one is just a screenshot of that image on the virtual mat here, on the on-screen mat. And the other is print preview. And what that's showing me is that my registration marks are on there. This is on page 2 of your instructions, and they're all visible, nothing's cut off. And the way you set this up, let me see where I'm getting ahead of myself here. So what can you do with this? Well, there are all sorts of things that you can purchase, all sorts of materials that you can use. And I'm going to show you some right now. I'm going to end the screen share and hopefully change my camera. Pin that. There we go. Okay, there's my little hand. Yay, me! So those are the pictures we were looking at. Yay! Some of the things that you can use, isn't it cute, the noodle worker? Well, one thing is cardstock. And I'm going to show you a little box that I made. If your printer only takes 8.5 by 11, then that's what you need to use. This was a piece of 12 by 12, and I just cut it down so it would go through the printer. And I printed on the white side, and I'm going to make a box, so that'll be the inside, which I thought was kind of cute. The project that we're going to do, let's see, cards. You can personalize things. You can put somebody's name on it. There's lots of different things to do to make a card for someone. And again, it's using cardstock. And the thing I'd recommend with that is sometimes it's best depending on the weight of the cardstock, if you feed it through like the rear feeder, just know your printer and how it best works with heavier materials. You can also make gift boxes. As I said, I'm going to show you that. Little tags. You could put people's names on them, all that good stuff. There is printable vinyl that you can use to make custom decals. And there's lots of different things out there, so you just need to follow the instructions on that product. The one thing, this is what we're going to be using, not this particular brand, this is actually some Silhouette stuff, is printable heat transfer paper. Now this one is for light colored fabrics, and I don't think there's any way for me to show you, but it's a fairly transparent piece of you can kind of, if I hold it up to the light, you can see through it. With this is the one that when you print on it, you have to, if you have text or a asymmetrical image, you need to flip it, and we'll go over that. With the printable heat transfer for dark material, you actually print on the front of that and cut it out like that and put it over the top of this. They're showing a t-shirt here. You can see, because what it is it's heavier, and there's a layer in there that allows you to see the color. Because if you used the heat transfer for light, you wouldn't be able to see it on dark material because the ink is just not strong enough. So, and again, lots and lots of different brands of things that are out there. Temporary tattoos. That's a lot. Again, Silhouette makes the paper. And again, if you're going to do a name, I've seen people. I actually was at a company where we made some up for a conference that we were having. People thought they were a lot of fun. So, but kids, you can get them to draw things for you, scan that into your computer, and save it as a photograph. PNG is best, as those of you who do it took classes before know, because then it auto traces, and you can make temporary tattoos. And the project that you're going to do, picture this being 4x4. Okay, so here we go. Is Jessie has at the library a whole bunch of these. This is a canvas panel. And the reason we're using panels is because you have to be able to press it. I did buy this because I want to play around with it. Most canvases, as you know, this is a canvas like this, have a space in here. Now this is a tiny space. And I'm thinking that if I'll find something to put in there, it's fairly firm, so that when I want to press on it, it doesn't push it in the middle. Obviously, if you have one of those much larger ones, it's going to have a lot of give in the middle, and you can't do that. I do know some people have made inserts for them so that they can use these to do a print cut, but these panels are really nice, and you can get them in just about any size. And I actually got some black ones today, some 12 by 12 black ones that I want to play around with. And this is, we're going to use, you're going to have available to you at the library a 4x4 panel, and Jess has some of the printable heat transfer paper. You're going to be able to send her a file, and she's going to do print and cut with it. And then you can apply the nice thing about this is because it's not a shirt or something that's going to have a lot of wear and tear. You can actually apply it with a home iron. You just turn it all the way up, no steam whatsoever, no water in the iron, and press on it. And we'll include instructions if you want to do it that way. If you don't have an iron, I happen to have one. I never use it. So, and I just bought myself a little toy, which I'm going to show you later. You can press it, or just can use the heat press to do it. So that's what we're going to work on in just a little bit. But that's the sort of different things you can do with the with print and cut. There's probably a million other things too. I'm going to go back to my other camera. Hello, this is my mouse. That's my new wired chicken. Isn't that the coolest thing? I can't wait to play with that one. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go. I'm going to show you a couple of things. Somebody was asking me about downloading the software. So this is Silhouette America. You go up here and click on software. Click download. And then you want to use the current version. And a while back, I always have to check myself. I now know I have a 64-bit Windows computer. If you're not sure how to do that, just Google it. Like, how do I know? How do I figure out how many bits is it 64 or 32? And it'll tell you how to walk through it. Or if you have a Mac, and you download that. Now it's free. It's the basic edition, and when you get to the point, you don't have to have a machine to download it. You're going to get to a point where it's going to ask you to enter your machine, some information about your machine. You can just skip that part and download it. What you don't want to do is use the beta versions. Those are, they're working on new features, and it's a good way to wind up having problems. So unless you're adventurous and want to try out the new stuff first, I'd stick with the current version. Sometimes people have problems with the current version, and there are legacy versions available. These are the slightly older ones, different, you see by the numbers. If you're having problems, again, I'm going to recommend going over to Silhouette Secrets Plus on Facebook. Join the group so you can ask questions, and just do a search of it once you're in that group, and you'll see, some of the issues and how you can resolve them. And sometimes it includes going back to that legacy version. Okay, so that answers that question. Let's go.
Linda, we got another question.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you print and cut on cardstock?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I already did. I'm going to show it to you in a little bit. I'm going to make a box.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can make cards